Welcome to the Encourager Podcast. I'm Rebekah Scott. I own Rebekah Scott Designs, where I am the designer and the CEO. I believe that if you desire an active, impactful role in your children's lives while simultaneously wanting to provide an income for your family, then being a mompreneur is exactly what you need to work at home. The Encourager Podcast is my way of inspiring and motivating you with insightful knowledge, tips, and advice from myself and other successful working women who put their families first. So let's take action and encourage one another. So I wrote a book. Say what? Yes, I did. It's called Equipped to Execute, guiding moms to joyfully impact their families and business. You know when you listen to a podcast and you think, goodness, I wish I could write that down, or I wish I could refer back to that in written form? Well, that's why I wrote it. I needed to answer the question, how do you do it, for you and for myself? So this labor, and I do mean labor of love, will be available for pre-orders for our book launch team. Visit theencouragerbook.com for details on the incentives, which include signed books, speaking gigs, a full day to brainstorm your business with me, and awesome Rebekah Scott Designs product to go with. The book includes chapters about how to ward off fear, how to set goals, how to make key decisions, and how to execute your dreams while raising your family, and loads of stories of my own journey with business and a growing family. So hop on, pledge what your heart screams for you to do, and pre-order yours today. We got this, Encouragers. Hello, Encouragers. Today's episode is about my food system. I've been talking about the different systems in how I run my business and my family. And today I'm going to talk briefly about the food system because there's all kinds of different directions you can take this. So the best I can do is tell you my food system, and then you just make sure that you determine what your food system will be, and you don't fly by the seat of your pants, because the food system can end up taking a lot of mental space, not always as much time space, because you might just do carry out more than you'd like to, but it does take up a lot of mental bandwidth figuring out how you're going to do food each day. So I plan out my whole day by 7:30 a.m. You can plan out whenever that might be for you, but I'm going to tell you, determine it before 15 minutes before the time to eat. Okay. Not at 5:30 do you start thinking about, well, you start thinking about it probably all day, but at 5:30 you have to execute on what you're going to make for supper. Don't do that. Plan it early in the day. So at about 7:30, that's after the kids get on the bus and all that, I plan out what we're going to have for lunch, what we're going to have for snack, and what we're going to have for supper. And the reason why I do all three of them is because then I don't waste any time all day long thinking about what I'm going to make or do or prep for each one of them. I do all the prep work that I can, usually using a crock pot or delay bake, but I'll get into that a little later. But I do plan out what that's going to be. And sometimes, luckily, that's just opening the fridge and going, all right, it's leftovers for lunch. Snack is going to be strawberries and peaches, and supper is going to be the crock pot meal. So then I do prep that. But sometimes it's not as much work as it may sound. If you're wondering what I do for breakfast, it's the school year right now. So the kids are up early and I get everybody up early. So usually they like to have cereal or egg sandwiches. I have done overnight oatmeal and I have done oatmeal casseroles, and we love that. And that's a really good prep in advance thing. And I also like to make homemade granola so that I can be in charge of the sugar intake with our little ones and then just what they're having. So those are all good breakfast options. Those I usually think of the night before. So that one I don't necessarily prep because it is kind of hard to prep for breakfast. So you got me there. But that's how I do my breakfast meal. For the grocery shopping, I grocery shop once a week. And on occasion, I run out of milk or eggs, and then we run to a local grocer that's just 5 miles from us in Larchwood, Iowa, and grab a gallon of milk or a dozen eggs. But I do my grocery shopping once a week, and I go on Wednesday a.m. I get there at about probably 8:15 in the morning. There's nobody there. I can do the aisles very freely with all 4 little ones, which I love in the summertime, or when it's just me and the 2 little ones when the other ones are in school. I have complete reign of all the aisles. I guess I must be like an aisle hog because I love it. And it's the same people stocking the same areas every Wednesday morning. So you get to know them and form this relationship. And here's the best part. You get like all kinds of freebies. Yeah, no kidding. Because they'll be like, oh, Becca's in here on Wednesday morning. Would you like to try this? We just kind of introduced this. Yeah. And they give you stuff for free. One morning, I got a free sled. Yeah, it was like during Christmas time. And I don't know if they just wanted to tell me thank you for going to their store every week on Wednesday mornings and recognizing that I was super devoted to them or what, but it was super cool. Came to the aisle and said, we'd like to give you this sled. And I can't remember what they said, just we'd like to give you this sled. It wasn't for my deep devotion or anything like that. Apparently I put those words in my head just right now, but it was really cool to get a sled. And the girls were totally psyched, a little green saucer sled. So like I said, same grocery store every Wednesday a.m. to get my groceries. And I have a pattern. You know, I head to the back, I go to dairy, I grab my dairy, and then I just go down every aisle and you start to know what the food is that your family likes. And I know where to grab it and I'll know when it's missing. Because if you try a different grocery store every single week, you spend so much time in the grocery store trying to find what it is that's either on your list or you didn't show up with a list and it's just the things that you normally grab for your family. You're totally lost. So you need to have a system in place that can be smooth. You're in, you're out, you will save money and you will save time. And most importantly, you will save mental bandwidth. And not that we need to save it for things, but we can have it for higher focus for things that matter a little bit more than grocery shopping. And I will warn you all, I am not a foodie. Clearly, it's not like my thing to grocery shop big time. I do like to cook and I do like to bake, but I don't keep anything real fancy. Think like I would love to be as good as Rachel Ray. I do love her. I love watching her stuff and I get a lot of tips and tricks from her, but I like her 5 ingredients or less meals. Bingo. That's my kind of style. And I love Pioneer Woman, but there are too many steps. So that's what I aspire to be. But at this point, I'm just the 5 ingredient or less Rachel Ray gal. With the grocery store, you know, they say a lot of tips about shopping the aisles so you can shop more fresh foods and more healthy for your family. And I have done that as well. But then I stopped doing that so I could go back to the dairy because those items were heavier. So me, it wasn't a health need. I still stop and get all of our awesome veggies and fruits and all the good stuff. But if I shopped that aisle first and it got on the bottom and all the heavy stuff would be put on top of it, like the milk and the eggs and the cheeses. So that's honestly why we do that. But there's really good tips on how to save the most amount of groceries or whatever. But what I'm encouraging the most is that you have a system and work it for 6 weeks before you change it. Have one day that you go to the grocery store, have your coupons or whatever it might be. And I might go off on a coupon rant right now. I don't use coupons unless they were sent to me in the mail and it's something that I normally buy, like butter or the same dishwashing soap or whatever. But coupons frustrate me because first it takes a lot to take the initiative to go and cut out the coupons and plan the meal around the coupons. So if that's your jam, awesome. But I would recommend that you block in the time to do it because the coupons are for junk. They're for like prepackaged stuff. It's not for like apples on sale. Now apples do go on sale or a certain brand or whatever, but I so wish that there was coupons for more good stuff for your body than just the crappy stuff in the aisle. So that's why I'm not a huge couponer, not totally against it. And I definitely look at them when I go to the grocery store. And thankfully, because I go to the same grocery store every single Wednesday, they grab the coupons for me. Like if I'm going to check out and they notice I got chocolate chips, they're like, oh, if you buy one, you get another one for free. I'll go get one for you. Like they're just so good to me. And maybe they do that to all people. And I just told myself that. Not sure. But anyways, going to the same grocery store once a week will save you a lot of time and money and mental bandwidth. Also, I have switched it up and started going to Aldi just a couple of weeks a month, or let's see, a couple of days a month because they are very affordable. And I also go to Costco probably once a month. Now, this is contrary to my rule of one day a week, but I do it on the same day. I do all my errands on Wednesday morning. So if I go to Costco, I do it after I go grocery shopping at Hy-Vee and get the bulk stuff. So I still plan it all for the same day. So you're not bouncing all over the place and using that precious time to spend it with kiddos. People wonder why I have time to spend with my family with what I do. And I think, well, I've blocked things together and grouped things together so that I can free up that time. I am not spending my Saturday morning in Costco. No way. It makes me sweat thinking about it. No. Wednesday morning. a little bit about how I do cook and bake for my family. I do like to bake because for me, it's the cheapest option. So during our game time, when I talk about we have pickup time, then we have lunchtime, then we have game time. Game time is that one-on-one time I like to spend with my kiddos. We do a puzzle or we play something or we color, and sometimes we bake, especially Rosalind. She's 4. She loves to bake. And as soon as I say that, I think, well, Pixon does too, and she's only 2. Oh, they just belly right up to the counter and they put their hand on the mixer, because I realize that's one of my mannerisms, on top, not in the bowl. Nobody freak out, but they love to bake. So we end up baking cookies or brownies or bread, or sometimes we pre-cut the food, which isn't baking, but I'm just warning you, like that's kind of how we do our baking time. And the reason why I like to bake is because it's so cheap and affordable to do things from scratch. And there's something about the scent of something being baked in the home that is very memorable to children and to adults. And I love when my husband comes in and says, "Oh, you baked brownies." Yes, I did. So for those few small seconds, that scent creates so much value in their mind about what I have decided to prioritize in our family. And that may be a lofty idea, but I'm telling you, someday when they say, "Mom, I just really wish I could smell your brownies right now," or "I could smell some cookies right now," I will be glad that I provided those memories for them and filled their bellies up, because it's a simple way that I can nurture them. Now, obviously, everyone has different diet recommendations, or they don't make sweets or whatever, but whatever that is for you, it's a way of creating a legacy about what you did for them and honored them when they were gone during the day, to bring them back into your awesome home that you have created, this sanctuary for them to come back to. What are some things that they like that you could bake or cook for them for when they return to you? Another thing with my food system is that Nick and I have really prioritized that we have supper at our dining room table, not at the island table, at our dining room table at least 5 to 6 nights a week. And sometimes it's not nights, okay, because it might be that night we have basketball for Gus. So then we prioritize a lunch meal or baseball or whatever. So the lunch meals we can do in the summertime, where we'll sit at the dining room table for lunch to make sure that we have this connection time with our kiddos and with each other. And we kind of treat it like, I would like to think an Italian family does, or so what I hear. And I kind of think of it like a Midwest ranch family, is we sit and linger after supper. We are not like picking up the plates and leaving and the kids are shoveling it in and they're gone. They have to ask to be excused. And then sometimes I will excuse them, but I'll say, "Come back to the table and visit with us." And we really just push back our plates and sit in our chairs and talk about our day. Nick and I linger and talk about the kids' days or what's going on in his life. I love that time. It's such I wouldn't say the word vulnerable, but such a connection time about here we are together. We are a family unit. So I wouldn't trade that for anything. And what you need to do is plan out how many suppers for your family do you need to have a week for you to feel really fully connected. Honestly, I could do it 7 or 8 times a week if it was allowed. But that's just not lifestyle for us, and probably not for you as well. But plan out, what is your deal breaker? How many suppers do you want to have a week at your table? And then block in each week when that's going to happen. Is that going to happen Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday? What does that look like? And that will also help you not to go out and get pizza or take the family out to dinner, because you have blocked in this time that is the time you're going to connect. And the more you do it, the more the kids will enjoy it and you will enjoy it, and it will become easier and become more natural. And everyone will wish that they had those memories sitting at the table. My memories from out west, I grew up in Phillips, South Dakota. I loved sitting at the table with my parents, and I remember the recipes and I remember the smells and I remember some of the conversations, especially with my older brothers, because they're going at 100 miles an hour for their sports and their work and all of that. So I love being able to sit and getting to know them. If you haven't picked up on this, we rarely eat out. We live about 25 minutes east of any major town, only about 5 minutes from other towns, but they don't have any like restaurants or anything like that, or anything that I'm willing to do. For us, it's really a cost savings thing. It's the time to get there. And then it's also like, I just got to admit, it's a patience thing. My husband does not do very well with like spills and too many moving parts and restaurant staff and all of that. He's like, I can't handle all this. He's super stressed out. And so it's not worth it for me to go to restaurants at the age they are now. So we kind of do like restaurant themed nights where we'll have Italian food or Mexican food or that sort of thing, but we don't eat out a lot. And let me tell you how much money we save. It is awesome. So I love living out here in the middle of nowhere because I save a lot of money. So for your food system, another thing that you need to start asking yourself, if these are things that you want to start taking on, is maybe you have friends that could help you with your food system. If it's something that you have been avoiding and you just hate cooking or you hate baking or you hate thinking about the food system for your family, which one of your friends are you like, gosh, they super have a good food system? Ask them if they can help you. So I have a friend, Amber, who loves my purses. And I noticed at her house, she has a menu and it was all planned out on what night of the week she was going to serve what. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's a really good system. So I said, would you like create a month worth of recipes and the grocery list to go with it for my family? And I'll trade you a purse. And she said, oh my gosh, absolutely. And this gal's like super organized. So I totally lucked out. She had it in a 1-inch binder. And it was in clear sheets and it had all the recipes, what night of the week, and the grocery list for the coinciding week because she knew I went once a week. Word. I love that system. So I refer back to that probably, 4 times a year. I do that month worth of recipes from Amber and it was awesome. So who do you have in your life that has a really good food system? And there's all kinds of programs out there now and apps. My sister uses some really cool apps for her food system. But find a system. Don't keep just spinning and trying, going, I got to get better at that. I got to get better at that. Start planning and start from there. Use it for 6 weeks and then evaluate. Is this really working for my family? Is this taking up too much time? Am I not focusing on this enough? But find a food system and work it for about 6 weeks. So in conclusion, here's what you need to do to ask yourself about the food system. How many suppers per week do you want to have? And when will you prep your meals? Mine's at 7:30 a.m. And then when will you shop each week? And I recommend doing it once a week. You will save so much time and energy and be able to spend so much more time with your family. And then ask yourself, who can help you? Is this going to be an app? Is this going to be a friend or a neighbor or a program? The most important thing you can do with your food system is plan. And it doesn't have to take a ton of time, but do block out the amount of time you want to plan for your family's food system. Okay, I hope this has been enjoyable. One more down, we got the food system down. Let's go, encouragers. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you have not done so, please subscribe to the show so that the latest episode will always be conveniently available on your device. You can also find the show notes on my website at shoprsd.com. That's shop with R as in Rebecca, S as in Scott, and D as in designs.com. The Encourager Podcast tab is at the bottom of my website, which holds some great resources like my recommended book page, how to rate and review my podcast, and reflection guides that correspond with each episode. Each review and rating is so valuable to us. I sincerely hope you feel encouraged and empowered to tackle anything that comes your way this week. Remember to be grateful, humble, and kind. Then joy will come ushering in. Until next time on The Encourager.